Hello, this is Gerald Van. Language in a certain way is also a way as communication with suggestions of directions where to go to, what I am expressing, what I'm telling you, and what can understand, and what you are interpreting at the other side. It uses a kind of 1, 2, 3 rule, not the 1, 2 rule of yeses and nos. No, it's more like a 1, 2, 3 choice. That goes quite automatically. And it's a balance between making choices, which we do in space with points that we use as starting points. When there's a certain doubt somewhere that it is not just one point that we receive at the end, or one element of certainty that we have at that point, during that learning process, we see that we have to go into a different direction, and there we have to follow it up because there are other elements that deal with it, elements that are not complete, and we try to make them complete. That's the learning process which kicks in at that point, where we are open much more to suggestions, and there we will use it to time our relationships, so that we are going to see in the balance within a time schedule, what are we going to do here, and what do we need to do here, and what's different, and so on. All the changes are followed up in that second position. And there is as much choice then of picking out something as which is not our choice. So we are actually making things more into balance at that point. We're trying to balance it out. At the last section, in the last option that you have into the 1, 2, 3 rule, that's the third option, is where you actually do not know it anymore. You do not have the idea what to do. We don't see what we have, we don't see where it goes to, and we don't see a solution. So, and there it goes much more automatically. So that's the feedback process. It's the limiting selection of restriction. An artificial intelligence, which also uses the 1, 2, 3 rule, not the yeses and nos, but there's an open rule as well, is programmed also by making choices, but also by making restrictions. If it's not programmed well, it will make too many choices, and it will make a bluff actually what is a reality, and it will take all the realities that are present without restricting it, because artificial intelligence is still not an intelligent idea. It's an automated system as well, which goes automatically towards the process of following up its choices and not making restrictions to itself actually by the not knowing factor. So the suggestions that you get there are not always that convenient. In language, we also use a selective process, and also there our choices, our understanding takes part of it as well. And as long as we do not include also that learning process in that following up, and see also what kind of restrictions there are, we might not restrict ourselves well enough. But these restrictions are as important as the choices that we make. It's a balance, that's balancing out. And from all these three options that you have into 1, 2, 3 in all directions, I can say how the relationships are chosen towards the letter positions that we make up there, from positions that are really picking out positions, or that we just hear, okay, how far does it go, where does it go to, the second option, or what kind of influence has this letter actually upon the full word is a third option. Let's go and analyze it a little bit more clear, but we always keep the image here of language communication. So some person who is the interpreter makes up choices, that's me, and someone else who I'm talking to is going to respond. is the option of you or the other, which we will try to follow up. And the reality is, for both of us, is the restriction within me and you, in between me and you, which works. And that's what I'm going to define also with all the words which I'm going to try to define as letter combinations. I will go to two words. I will explain two words, inside and inside. They sound exactly the same, but they are written down differently. And the way how they are written down makes a difference. And I will show you what it will make a difference and what's the focus about by simply also writing it differently. But that's the order that we're going to have is restricted by this 1, 2, 3 rule in these three options. So one of the possibilities is that some of the letters will make a choice, other letters will take care for how we follow this up, and the last couple of letters, they will be about restrictions. And I already put there all the letters there from inside and inside. But basically both of them are pronounced as inside. I could write it down as AAYT. In English it's most fitting to that pronunciation, and so I also have to look into that oral restriction and then oral basis, because that's the foundation actually of my orientation. And where's the difference when we write it differently? What will be the focus of emphasis in both words? It starts with in. Now in, so if I have to see in which of one of the three categories is it, I always use these kinds of focuses. The focuses which are the basic ones are basic on the place of earth there below you. The following up are of course the following up from me to you in a time frame. So in between earth and heavens, let's say, that is the time frame where we time things. And the last option is on top of that is what is going on in the background the whole time, and in which we will see how much is our frame focused upon something in between you and me. Now if I look into the letters that we use for it, E and N, both in the middle, so obviously I will focus upon the frame here in the middle, in between you and me, in at that abstract, on that abstract general sense there on top, where all the movements, all the directions, all the behaviorisms are lying in the background, and they can fit in and they can be brought in. They can have within all its communications, they can be applied to it. E shows actually in general that kind of restriction on the edge of what we can see. So from the borders and from the limits what we can see, it will also show where the limits are. Where are the limits of my material developing, and where it will go to in the end, where is it all related to, is expressed by this form that makes it also more clear. It goes also inwardly within already because of this letter E, which will also do that all the time. N refers to movements and directions. That's the level of where we have to follow up things. So that's the way how we follow up things. And there are three levels there: the space, also the timing, and then of course the contextual restrictions. But the first level is about space, what moves or directs itself in space upwardly, meaning it goes away from space and see where is the space that we need, that we uplift there actually, the space or the place that we use is restricted via E, and it's restricted so that it goes also inwardly, like with a sound in or with the letters in. So that's the same for inside and inside. In is the starting place. Now what's the next thing is then, let's follow up the oral thing. So the oral thing will guide you to where you need to go to. The S is about all the influences that come in. So this movement in the background is all the influences, all the applications, all the things that you can add within a certain context. You can add new things, new elements and so on, new transactions, new behaviors. They all come in at a certain time, and they are restricted by E first, but within a space because of the letters E and N. But what is going to replace my focus a bit or move up my focus a bit is it's going to look into the restrictions of all the effects and all what can happen there. The S, all what can happen there as influences that come in are restricted within a certain place. The I moves up horizontally, the Y moves up diagonally, the T moves up horizontally. These are the helping tools which say, okay, this is my focus. I'm focusing upon all the restrictions within this frame, within this frame alone. So that's what inside also is referring to. But inside will do that as well. It's all within. So what's then the difference between inside, which you already have here quite clearly, and inside? Let's have the last part analyzed and how it has been written. The first word, inside, is with D and E. Last part of the word is always about restrictions as well. So it's the 1, 2, 3 rule applies there in every word order as well. The first letters are about is my choices. My choice for in is this is my place where I'm going to start from. I'm starting from somewhere in it, inside it. The S says it's about what effect that will have as well. So what kind of applications we will have in the end and what it will all mean to me. And the D and the E will show you what kind of restrictions it will lead to. And the description of D and E are from the second category where we follow up. So how do we follow that up inwardly? Something that will be done there inwardly in the space in. We will follow up something because D and E are both about following up. The differences between E and D is E is a follow-up of what is going on there and what is going to be different in time. D is a follow-up in space, in a place. Also, what is different in a place. So what's different in a time, how it's different in a place, that's what is inside. That's what is the expression of inside. That's how I understand it from the letters. What's the difference with inside? With the GHT is a bit different. It's a different restriction. The restriction here at the end of the word is the GH and T. So where do we have them? GH and T. And let's place them as well into the inner place of the frame. What we have, this frame. As in the last category, it also said it has a frame, but this frame can be applied to everywhere where we find the same rules. What will be the rules of the restriction? What will be the definition of the restriction? The G, the blue double arrow, the H, the two double arrows of H, and then the letter T still. The letter T as well, will be added there as well. T is about placement again, so it will be about placement, and that's also about a choice. So it will give me a choice in the end. That's the last letter. It's also the conclusion, the finalizing letter, the conclusion in all of it will be achieved. What's my conclusion? The T is also about I found it. I found what the restriction is. I found my definition at a place in a space as a definition, as something that is workable, that I can use. That I can use. The workable aspect is enhanced even with the letter H. H is about all what comes in needs to be workable within that space. If I see something which is workable or vivid within that space, like the breath inside it, it's workable, and that is with the G also reflected. So I reflect to what is workable and what is practicable as well, so that I can use it as a choice, is the description of insight with G, H and T. And that's basically enough to understand. I hope I was clear enough. As soon as you understand more or less the places, the placements, the meaningfulness of these placements of letters, you will also understand how to read it as a puzzle. And this puzzle will make sense more and more the more you do it, or maybe the more I express examples as well. Thanks again for watching. Bye.